All right, let's go through the AEW Dark results for November 3rd. First up, Darby Allin defeated BAS HP King. Brandy Rhodes and Red Velvet defeated Layla Hirsch and Elena Black. This is the first time they have gotten together, and it looks like Red Velvet is now part of the Nightmare family. Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus defeated Danny Limelight and KC Navarro, his first time out there. Frankie Kazarian defeated Razine. Ricky Starks defeated Dave Dutra. Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman, they defeated Sean Maluta and Alex Chamberlain in a tag match. It'll be interesting to see. However, Lance Archer came out and attacked everyone and cleared out the ring. Interesting to see Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr. get the win. Max Caster and Anthony Bowens defeated Aaron Solo and Angel Fashion. Max Caster and Anthony Bowens signed with AEW. Dark Order's Allen Angels defeated VSK. The Butcher and the Blade defeated Jersey Muscle. Will Hobbs defeated D3. Dark Order, Evilus Uno, and Stu Grayson defeated Nick Coromondo and Baron Black. Dark Order, John Silver, Colt Cabana, and Preston Vance defeated Sean Dean, Cesar Bonani, and Fuego del Sol, one of our favorites there. Kaylin King defeated Leia de Tapia. Leia D was from wrestled in Impact Wrestling, a couple other places, but Kaylin King gets her first win. Private Party, Isaiah Cassidy, Mark Quinn defeated Chaos Project, Luther, and Serpentica. About Luther. Sammy Guevara defeated Lee Johnson, and that is your main event on Dark. AEW Dynamite results for November 4th, the go-home show for the Full Gear pay-per-view. And I thought it might have been weak, but it actually turned out to be pretty good. First up, Ortiz and Sammy Guevara versus MJF and Wardlow. Winner, no surprise here, Wardlow and MJF. After we gave this one a grade of 3.75. This was a good match to start things off. Sammy Guevara was on fire during this match. And then at the end of the match, MJF attacks Chris Jericho, and that was a nice little twist to their thing that's coming up. Then we had a Kenny Omega segment with somebody else's dog at somebody else's house, and that was interesting. Miro versus Trent. This was my match of the night. I thought Miro and Trent put on a great show. This was a fantastic match. Best match that we've seen with Miro and Trent has always been doing well in the singles action. We got a little Dark Order jumping Orange Cassidy, and that has to do with the whole Full Gear build-up. Winner, Miro. We gave this a 4. This was our elite match of the night. If you have a chance to check it out, definitely see it. Miro did fantastic. I mean, this is the first time he's had a singles match apparently in like 8 or 9 months or something like that. So he did a great job. This was definitely our match of the night. Then we had a Hangman Page segment. He's drunk. Then we had Taz, Brian Cage, and Ricky Starks segment. And I really think this is definitely, they could have something to do with Full Gear. They said they're going to be there. Their presence will be felt. I wonder if they interfere in something. We shall see. But Ricky Starks and Brian Cage should be on a pay-per-view, no? Tag team match, filling in for Scorpio Sky, Sean Spears, that got canceled because, not that Scorpio Sky had COVID, but he was around somebody that did, so he was quarantined for 14 days, so he was out. So we got Private Party versus the Young Bucks. And hey, for throwing this one at the last minute, this was a great match. Winner, the Young Bucks. I gave this a 3.75. This was also a good match. It'll be interesting to see how the Young Bucks deal with stuff. There's supposedly Matt Jackson is injured, and then FTR came out afterwards. It'll be really interesting to see how that goes down. We got the Jon Moxley, Eddie Kingston segment, and boy, if that's like television that keeps you riveted. Now I'm not a super fan of Eddie Kingston's wrestling game, but his mic game and just pumping things up and everything else, I mean, he is an A+. This had me totally locked in. I thought they were going to go at it. They knew each other, talking about his mom, all sorts of stuff. Now, this got you pumped up subtly and simply I mean, you have these other things before with the signing the contracts, and then we know what's going to happen. This one was like you can't touch each other, otherwise the match is canceled. So they didn't. That was a great little twist to throw in there, to have them go back on the mic, and the way they positioned it with Eddie Kingston with his back to Jon Moxley and let him talk. It was just a fantastic segment. If you want to check it out, you should definitely check it out. Speaking of segments, we hear from Pac, and it was just what I figured it would be, not really telling us much. Was he going to come back? It was a pretty cool segment. It just says that he's ready to go again, but we got this segment a couple months ago, and nothing really happened of it. So unless he's coming to the States to wrestle, then I'm not really interested per se. I want him back. Butcher and the Blade take out the Natural Nightmares. Then we got Nyla Rose versus Red Velvet, who's basically has signed a contract. She's on the roster. Winner Nyla Rose. This one was a 2.50. I thought Red Velvet did good. She's ready to go. Nyla Rose was fine doing the Beast Monster kind of angle. She was fine too. And it is what it was. It was just a quick segment. That's why I never really grade these women wrestler segments very high, because they're just very quick segments. We got a Kenny Omega versus Paige with the old "Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone" song. I posted on Twitter. I thought it was kind of corny, the music. I guess that's what it was supposed to be. I don't know. I get a little worried when we go with a goofball kind of angle on things too much in pro wrestling. I just get a little worried about that. Then we got the final match, Cody and the Gunn Club versus Dark Order. Cody and the Gunn Club get the win, gave this a 3.25. Austin Gunn gets the pin. That was good for him. He's been a big part of the crowd on the side throughout all of the COVID pandemic era wrestling. So it was nice for him to get a win, and now that the Gunn Club is part of the Nightmare family. And finally, Cody calls out Darby Allin, and we'll see how that all goes down on AEW Full Gear this Saturday. Because AEW Full Gear is next week, we didn't really get many announcements for next week's card. However, we got two, and one is a doozy. We get a rematch of the classic Penta El Zero M versus Rey Fenix. Remember, Phoenix won their last matchup, but he had to forfeit his match with Kenny Omega due to an injury. Penta replaced him and lost to Omega in the AEW World Title Eliminator Tournament, and now we'll have the conclusion of that at AEW Full Gear. Also announced was the Natural Nightmares versus the Butcher and the Blade. Battle's been brewing between them after the Bunny left the Nightmares. We knew this was coming. She was by QT Marshall's side most of the summer. It was kind of awkward. All of a sudden, she was by his side. Not really sure what they were going with that. And she teamed up with Brandy Rhodes for the women's tag team tournament. They eventually lost the finals to Ivelisse and Diamante. Maybe that's why they just put them together, just because they were kind of thin. The Bunny then rejoined Butcher and the Blade recently, and they've been taunting QT Marshall. They did on AEW Dynamite this past week. And so now we're going to get a conclusion of that. So guaranteed there'll be more matches announced after AEW Full Gear.